Hey everybody, how you doing today?
Good. How are y'all?
Good, thanks.
Doing good. Going to give it
Cool.
the obligatory Keith Bogus 2 minutes, and Katie will kick us off. That's 48.
I don't know. I think he's got that copyrighted, so I think we have to ask for his permission to use that 2 minute rule.
Yeah, maybe you're right. That will go a minute and a half.
Excuse me. We'll go ahead and get started. If we could please hold up on our questions until the end of the call. We'll have 15 minutes reserved for questions. You can definitely send those through the chat throughout the presentation. So just to respect people's times and make sure we get as much as we can out of it. So let's go ahead and get started. And there will be the presentation will be distributed after today's meeting along with the recording of this webinar. Matt, you can go ahead.
As you guys know, we have the Trojan team on the call today. They have quite a lot of information to share with us, and so we'll go ahead and hand it off to Matt and team.
Matt, if you're talking, you're on mute.
Maybe Matt's not here. He left. All right, how do you guys think? You know,
Looks like Mary's going to tee us up once she puts herself off mute.
Mary's up. No pressure, Mary.
I'll tee us up. Well, Matt's figured out what's going on. Hi, I'm Mary Seacard. I'm Senior Marketing Communications Manager for Motive. I handle the Trojan AES gel flood lead acid technologies, and my counterpart is a woman named Sarah Bernard. She handles the lithium ion. She won't be presenting today, but on our team will be Matt Herr, and Matt is Senior Product Manager for Motive. And also we have Dharmesh Desi, who is Director of Engineering. I am sure that you're going to have some questions after we go through all of this. So if Matt, are you on?
He's showing on and muted, but we'll see.
Yes, we can certainly share a copy of the presentation. Matt, you're muted. I think he's trying to figure out what's going on.
I think he's presenting, so.
Yeah.
So we'll work to get this presentation out to everybody, the recording of the call, by the end of the week at the latest. We had some issues with the video on the last one, so it took a little bit of additional time to get that all figured out, but we're confident we have that issue figured out for this one.
That's right.
Well,
You need us to present?
let's see. Try dialing in by phone. Here's what I'll do is I'll jump in and I'll try to do justice to Matt's part of his presentation, but I promise you he'd do a much better job than I would. I don't know if he can advance the slides either.
Yeah, I think he's presenting.
Mm-hmm.
You have it? See if I can get it real quick.
If I may, I think I'm going to try to steal the sharing and then we can
Go ahead
start
with
with
your
that,
part.
Mary.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay, let me know if you can see the presentation mode.
I
So
can see
yes,
it.
we can see it.
Okay. You want to kick us off, Mary?
I think I already did. Well, on the agenda, I'll just briefly go back through it. We're going to present a Trojan Advantage. We'll tell you a little bit about our focus markets in 2023 for Trojan AES, and just what exactly Trojan AES is. And Dharmesh has some really great information you're going to eat up on that, particularly if you're in sales. We'll talk a little bit about the AES design and the cycle life comparisons. I'll walk you through a little bit of marketing, and then we'll save 15 minutes for Q&A. Dharmesh, I don't know if Matt's got his volume fixed yet, so we may just want to, do you want to just jump to your part? Or do
Yeah,
you want to walk through Matt's?
I think we can do that. So we can dive in right into the data,
Okay.
and then we'll circle back to Matt's slides. If only I can figure out how to jump forward. I think I can. There we go. No, I'm seeing slow down. There we go. Okay, so thank you, Mary. Thank you, team. I appreciate your time and joining here. I'm Dharmesh Desai. I'm the director for product development here for C&D Trojan Battery Company. I'm based out of our headquarters, which is located right outside of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. So if you're ever in this area, it's open to our partners or customers to visit. We have a very extensive testing and lab capabilities here, both from a material standpoint, wet lab, chem lab, and also from a battery testing capability. And so we also have some showcase here for products and different technologies. So if you're ever in the Philadelphia area, you're welcome to visit this facility.
Hey, Dharmesh, can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect, Matt.
So sorry about that. I was in presenter mode and it wasn't allowing me to do anything other than talk to myself. So I
All right,
apologize.
I'm gonna circle back to you now.
Thank you so much. Sorry about that, everyone. Thanks for jumping in, Dharmesh. But we'll go through the presentation. It looks like you're controlling right now. I'll take back
Yes.
control. All right.
Yep. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. Can you see this okay?
Yes.
All right, let's go. Sorry about that. All right, so jumping into it here. Hi, everyone. My name is Matt Herr. I'm the senior product manager for Motive Products at Trojan. And I had the honor of launching our AES batteries back in April of this year. We've had it available for, like I said, since April, with a lot of success, a lot of interest from both aftermarket and OEM customers. And we're really ramping up very nicely with this product. So we thought it was a good opportunity to sit down with you all with our new relationship, which we really do appreciate between Trojan and Continental, and talk through, what is AES, what are the advantages that AES brings to the table to help you sell. As Dharmesh probably mentioned, he's going to get into some of the details, some of the history around it. It's not a new technology. It's something we've been able to advance upon year after year. So he'll go through that and some of the data that's very, very exciting that we've seen. And then Mary will close us out with all of the marketing tools that you have available to you to help you sell. And then hopefully we'll have about 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A, but I'm going to have to hurry through this because I was late to the party. So we'll get going. Wanted to start out by talking through the Trojan advantage though. And I always like to start with our mission statement. And that C&D Trojan will lead the innovation and delivery of energy storage solutions to power the world safely and sustainably. These are, very, very important. Our mission statement is very, very important to us. And I think really innovation, safety, and sustainability play themselves out in everything that we do. You'll see that in our lithium products, in our AES products, and in our flooded lead acid products on a variety of different ways. So that's really the core of who we are and who we will continue to be as we develop new technologies going forward. Why Trojan? Trojan's a world leader in deep cycle technology, has been for a very, very long time. Between Trojan and our sister company C&D Technologies, we each have 100 years of experience in this space. So very, very experienced, a lot of technologies and a lot of experience in all of the markets that you're familiar selling into. And we're definitely excited about continuing on with that tradition with this new product. From a product standpoint, we really like to talk about, our full portfolio of products. And I think this is a big differentiator for us as a company. We have lithium that we're manufacturing ourselves. We have industry-leading VRLA technology with AES. We have gel products. We have flooded products. We have a full portfolio of solutions that your customers are looking for a variety of different applications and use profiles. So if there's a need for deep cycle batteries, we generally have something that fills that need and fills it very, very well at a variety of different price points as well. So with that, we'll kick off and talk about the new AES platform. So I'm going to hit the high notes, like when you're in front of customers, what do you want to be talking about? What are those key value propositions that we're bringing to the table with AES and our advanced energy storage platforms? So why Trojan AES? It's leading value in VRLA growth market. And I'll show you kind of the three pillars of what builds that value on the next slide. But it's unrivaled technology in the space. And we're very, very excited about being able to bring it to market at a price that's identical to what we were offering our AGM product at for the most part. So it's a lot of value at a great price. And that's something that we're very, very excited about. Oops. It's designed for the most demanding motive application. This is definitely a motive battery. It's designed for all of those industrial applications that you're going to be running into floor care, aerial work platforms, material handling, golf, utility vehicles. It's really designed to take the beating that comes from all of those different types of applications and sustain in a sustained way. And Dharmesh will kind of show you some of the data around that. Plus, you get all the benefits of VRLA technology. It's maintenance free, it's a sustainable, fully recyclable technology, and it's a safe, sealed battery solution. So what are those three pillars of Trojan AES that we like to talk about? It lasts longer. This is really the biggest differentiator for us. It's going to last up to 3 times longer than a standard AGM battery will. And the harsher the environments, the greater that life expands beyond the competition. It performs very, very well in harsh conditions. It goes from temperatures down to 40 below Fahrenheit all the way up to 160. And it's very, very robust. You're going to find those types of applications, in aerial work platforms, some solar applications, harsh conditions, and it continues to perform time and time again in those conditions. And then you're able to operate this in a partial state of charge without doing long-standing damage, right? We know how operators run equipment, and we know the major failure modes of batteries is not testing properly and not fully testing every time you use the piece of equipment. Well, this battery is designed to withstand that type of operation again and again, and we're very, very excited about that. and bringing that value to those customers. Again, the supporting points, it's maintenance-free technology. There's virtually no maintenance as there's no watering required. It's a safe and sustainable technology. It's made of basically 80% recycled materials and is 99% recyclable. So if you run into customers who might have issues with lithium because they don't know how to recycle it, but they're still looking for a long-lasting battery technology, this is a great alternative. It's got a rugged design. It's designed and manufactured to absorb vibration and shock. It's meant to be a motive battery. And a warranty. This is another differentiator for us. Trojan AES offers a 3-year warranty. So we're going to back all of this technology and all the testing and proving that we've done with this battery with a 3-year warranty. So we're supporting you with that as well. And again, it's a VRLA battery, so you're able to charge it with existing AGM profiles. You're not going to need to go and buy a new battery. So, you know, a lot of customers these days are asking for lithium, or they're asking for, you know, a traditional flooded product or something in between, right? They might have reservations with a flooded product because they're tired of changing out their batteries every 6 to 12 months, or they might have reservations with a lithium product because it's too expensive for their current budgets, right? But this fits very, very nicely in between and has a lot of the characteristics that we like from the lithium standpoint at a much more affordable price. So this is one example that I like to give. It's just from a floor care example. I actually come from a floor care background, but you know, what's the actual cost? When you're out talking to customers, everyone likes to talk about, you know, total cost of ownership. So what's the cost of a dead battery pack in a floor machine? Well, if you think about it, 24-volt floor machine is going to be 4 T105 batteries on the low end. That's approximately $1,000 cost if they're replacing it every 24 months, let's say. That adds up over the life of the machine. A service tech visit on top of that is going to be a minimum $150 for transit time and $100 an hour after that for a minimum of $250. Likely going to creep that one up into the, you know, towards $400 or $500 range once they're done, you know, making other offers on for service. And then the average rental cost to rent something, if your machine is down and you can't get batteries the same day or the next day, it's going to be about $300 in lost revenue. So in those mission critical types of applications like food manufacturing or pharma or other medical types of application, hospitals, schools, where you need to clean on a regular basis to meet codes, that's really going to add up in terms of cost. So, you know, having a battery pack that lasts for, you know, close to the life of a piece of equipment like this is going to save you, you know, at least $3,000 to your bottom line over the life of it. With Trojan AES, less downtime means more productivity. So that's the other side of it too. You don't have downtime. So if you have a cleaning business and you're out cleaning, you're not losing that revenue, that productivity that that's your livelihood when it comes to operating these pieces of equipment. So, and you're avoiding dissatisfied customers who can't complete their cleaning tasks that are required. And it's for all the reasons that we've talked about, right? 3 times the life. You're basically getting, you know, 2 to 3 times the battery compared to an AGM battery or a traditional flooded product. And it's much less susceptible to the damage that's done by poor battery charging conditions like partial state of charge, you know, cooler temperatures, hotter temperatures, extreme deep cycling can harm flooded products or traditional AGM batteries. This battery withstands those types of applications very, very well. This is the product line that we have, and if you're familiar with our AGM product, we've basically done a 1-for-1 transition from AGM to AES, and we offer all of the same battery models in both our Motive line and the Trojan Solar line as well. So if you're familiar with the AGM products and sizes and all of the applications that they go into, we have an AES product ready to go today. That you can sell to your customers at a very, very similar price point. On average, it's, I think, actually maybe just a touch cheaper when you average in all of the different models that we offer in the market. So it's a great value, and we have the products that you need. This is just a look at some of the data that we have. I'm not going to go into detail with this, but all of our, just did want to take the opportunity to say that all of our data sheets, brochures are all posted on trojanbattery.com. And Mary will talk a little bit more about some of the great tools that we have on Trojan X as well, and some of the other marketing materials with our product data, product specs, and some of these features and benefits that will help you sell. So why is this important right now? So AES is something that we've been looking at for a long time. Dharmesh will kind of talk about how we've had the technology in our stationary side of the business for years, but we've decided to bring that into the motive markets because AGM is a growing market, and we really wanted to be leaders in this market. And it's growing at a 5.5% CAGR. So, you know, as a lot of customers transition from flooded product to lithium, you know, we're starting to see a little bit of a decline in flooded sales in the marketplace, but AGM and VRLA battery technology is actually still growing, and it's expected to grow through 2025 and beyond because of, you know, the maintenance-free aspect of it, the longer life, the sealed technology, so you don't have to worry about spills and whatnot. So it's a growing category, and we're very, very excited to have one of the best products in the market to bring to this category. And as you can see there, we're playing in all of the spaces that you're familiar with, right? Golf, aerial work platforms, floor care, material handling is a very, very large market that we're going to start to build out and really go after strong next year as well in terms of marketing campaigns and some additional tools for helping y'all sell into those markets. But then we have some of these adjacent markets that you may or may not be familiar with in marine and RV, where these batteries do very, very well. Just kind of expanding upon some of these target markets, who are the big players and who are the big brands in floor care. You've got the Tennants, the Nilfisk Advance, the Karcher, Windsor Karcher. You've got Hako, Betco, IPC Eagle, Comac, FEMAP. Every single building that the commercial building has one of these pieces of equipment in it. You got to look. You might be hidden in a closet. You never really see them because they're all working at night. But they all have battery-powered cleaning equipment. So there's a lot of opportunities for you guys to work with Jansan dealers in your territories to meet that need. And these people have a great understanding for the headaches that come from downtime and batteries that don't last and don't perform due to customer or due to operator neglect, for lack of a better word. Aerial work platforms, you know, we have JLG, the JCB, Snorkel, Skyjack, Terex, some of the big names there. Material handling, Raymond Muscatine, Doosan, Toyota, bigger players there. But also, you know, all of these pieces of equipment go very well in rental opportunities, right? They're everywhere from the Uniteds to the Sunbelts to the mom and pop rental companies, all spread it across the United States. And all of these companies have fleets of product with batteries in them, and they're all very, very familiar with the pain that's caused by having downtime from batteries that were not maintained properly. So we're really looking to go after these markets with this really, really robust product line and create customer satisfaction to new levels. And again, solar renewables is very, very established. This product actually came from stationary. So it's a very, very good application if you have customers in your territories looking for solar batteries. It's a great opportunity to look for that. And then obviously our bread and butter at Trojan has been golf for years and years and years. And we've got some traction with golf here as well. Just a quick overview before I hand things off to Dharmesh of our product line, right? We talked about the different products that we have available in our portfolio and where they are, but we just kind of wanted to give you some tools. And there's some more tools actually at the back of this presentation that we won't talk about, but we will include with, and we'll send that, make sure everyone gets a copy of it, talking about who are the people that you should be talking to in floor care, material handling, AWP, who are the key players, what kind of decisions are they what kind of things are they thinking about when they're making decisions between the different technologies. But this is just kind of a nice one pager, right? Flooded product. They're looking for something low cost. You know, they're familiar with batteries. They have dedicated people who can maintain those flooded products, keeping your liquid fluid levels up where they need to be. Pricing is obviously the biggest thing, and recycling. It's a fully recyclable, proven product that some customers might be very, very interested in. AGM is actually going to be our AGM product is actually going to be slowly phased out here toward the end of this year and replaced by AES. We don't expect any demand for AGM because we have this great new product in AES at a very, very similar price point as I've mentioned. So AGM in our portfolio will be slowly going away and replaced by AES. And you can see here the price point is going to be the same. You're going to get those advantages when it comes to deep cycling, partial state of charge, temperature performance, service life, obviously the big one, maintenance free. But then you also have lithium products, and our lithium portfolio is strong and growing. And there are a lot of reasons to sell lithium if customers need, faster charging and high energy density for particular applications. So I just wanted to kind of close out with this and show you how AES fits very, very well in the portfolio between flooded product and a lithium battery. All right, sorry if I rushed. Happy to answer any questions at the end of the presentation, but I do want to make sure that Dharmesh and Mary have enough time to talk. So with that, I'll hand it off to Dharmesh to talk about some of the history and the testing data that we've seen around AES.
Thanks, Matt. If you can get to the next slide. So just a little bit of background, as Matt mentioned, both companies, C&D Technologies and Trojan Battery Company, have a very long history. In 2018, C&D Technologies acquired Trojan Battery Company. And soon after that, we did integrations. So one of the first groups that was integrated between both sides of the business was the engineering team, which I'm part of. And then in the next few years, both sides of the businesses tried to understand strengths, weaknesses, how we can fusion what into where, manufacturing efficiencies. And one of the things we realized was on the C&D side of the business, we had this AGM technology, which was optimized and perfect for where the Trojan market is. And in addition, we also had some factory integrations to optimize manufacturing processes and mature processes. So that kind of happened between 2019 and 2021. And then within that, as a parallel path, we started introducing new products on both sides of the business, taking advantage of the strengths on either side. And so that's where the AES product line has come about. It's been in test and development for a long time on the C&D side, and then at least for a few years on the Trojan side, testing it, validating it, and then it's been launched. So if you could, next slide, please. As then also what Matt mentioned, we're one of the few companies that has the entire portfolio in lead acid and lithium. We make batteries that are really tiny that you can buy that weigh only about 10 pounds to batteries that weigh over 750 pounds each, with a wide variety of applications and manufacturing facilities throughout the world, and also installations throughout the world. So next slide, please. A little background on the technology. I'll point out a couple of main things. So on the C&D side of the business, we've been designing and manufacturing VRLA AGM batteries since the 1980s. So 40 years of experience in development, improvement. And out of that, the other thing to point out here is that nanocarbon technology in 2012, that's really the basis of the technology that's behind the AES. So we have a lot of experience in it. We have a lot of data on the field from it. And then also we've been improving it as we've gone along, both from a design perspective and from a manufacturing perspective. So that's a little bit of background on C&D side of the business, if you're not familiar with it. And then one more thing, C&D, before C&D and Trojan Battery Company became one, Trojan used to sell AGM products into their markets, and what a lot of folks don't know is C&D was actually producing it for Trojan. So C&D would private label, manufacture it in our Milwaukee facility, and then Trojan would sell it as a Trojan brand. So not only has C&D been designing and building products since 1980s on AGM VRLA products, C&D's been also selling it for Trojan for the last over 20 years. And also C&D has its own cycling products. It's branded as AES on the C&D side also, and DCS Plus. One of the applications, C&D is the main provider of auxiliary batteries and EVs. By EVs, I mean road faring EVs. So all the major electric vehicle brands you can think of, C&D's in there. And also we have a stationary standby cycling product line, which is also called AES, Advanced Energy Storage. That's usually more for industrial applications. So telecom sites, hybrid telecom sites, and solar, industrial solar complexes. So that's the background. Now we'll get into what is AES. So Advanced Energy Storage is what AES stands for. Just on a high level, what have we done from it? So if you compare the Trojan AGM product line and the Trojan AES product line from the outside, you will not be able to see any difference. The color is the same, the dimensions are the same, the terminals are the same. Only thing you'll see different is labels on the top. But when you look in the inside, everything is from the ground up is different. We've optimized the inside lead alloys, we've optimized the anode and the cathode, we've optimized the engineering additives in there. And this is a summary of what it is. And then we've also optimized our manufacturing process. So from a positive active materials standpoint, we've significantly increased the mechanical strength for it, and also improved the battery charge retention. What that basically means, you can discharge it multiple times, and the loss of capacity over time will be significantly less than previously. On the negative side, we've done something similar also. The mechanical strength has been improved significantly. And we've also changed the active material and the additives inside it. We have engineering specific additives just for Trojan and C&D side of the business, where it helps reduce the cell to cell within a battery, and then battery variation within a string when it's installed. And then from a manufacturing standpoint, our Reynosa, Mexico facility, that's where these batteries are manufactured. It's right at the border of McAllen, Texas. We've been manufacturing AGM batteries there since 1999. So that factory has a lot of experience, a lot of robust processes and quality checks in there. And also we've improved our manufacturing capabilities there as well in terms of innovation and reducing variation. So overall, the AES battery, from a high level, it's robust, it's maintenance free, it's eco-friendly from a maintenance, from a recyclability standpoint, and then the cycling is up to 3x, and we'll show the data what that means. And then also with the manufacturing side, we can scale up and down in terms of form factor, and in terms of all the different sizes that we can produce out of that facility. So next slide, please. So what have we done inside, right? Like I mentioned, it's redone from ground up. So one of the things we started was the base lead alloys, or the lead itself. We've gone to an extremely low corroding alloy, which is a blend of lead and other additives to reduce the corrosion. And also we've gone to an extremely low impurity of that alloy as well. What this ends up doing is it's over time, it reduces the resistance during the operation. And any lead acid battery, when you look at a brand new battery and when you look at that same battery when it's at end of life, the positive electrode corrodes, and that corrosion directly results in increase of resistance. The other thing we've done is on the active material standpoint, the oxide that's used is an extremely low impurity or very pure oxide that we use in this battery. And that what that does is it reduces gassing. And if you're not familiar, gassing is a phenomenon where during the charge of the battery, when it's fully depleted and when you charge the battery, the charge efficiency is very high. It's like if you think of going to an empty parking lot, when you're pulling in there, there's 100 spots, you can quickly charge or park your car anywhere you want. And as that parking lot fills up and there's only 3 or 4 spots, it takes time for your car to find that open parking spot. Similar thing happens in a battery where when you're fully discharged and you plug it in, it's the charge efficiency very, very fast. The electrons can transfer very easily. When the battery gets close to fully charged, the electrons have a hard time finding the spot to get back into the battery. And as a result, you'll end up reducing your charge efficiency. And in a lead acid battery, what ends up doing is you end up overcharging. So for example, if you took, say 100 amp hours out, you pretty much need to put in about 108 to 110 amp hours back in. And that extra 8 to 10% is that inefficiencies. And that extra 8 to 10% is used for losses, and it ends up generating gassing within the battery. And gassing, the net result of gassing is you lose hydrogen molecules from the battery, which then consumes the electrolyte inside. So basically you dry out over time. So in a lead acid flooded battery, that's why you have to keep watering the battery, because you're losing water. In a VRLA, you lose significantly less, but you do lose a little bit. This high purity or low impurity oxide will significantly reduce the gassing. And the other benefit of this is also in applications where you have a hybrid, so like a solar site. Sometimes you're cycling the battery, but sometimes if you have a solar site that's also plugged into a grid, you're not cycling the battery all the time and you're just on float service. And in that case, this significantly reduces gassing in the battery and extends service life. On the negative side, like I mentioned, we also changed the additives that we put in here, the fiber, the lignosulfate, the barium sulfate, and the carbon additives. And just for time's sake, I won't get into these, but overall, what all these combined help do is, the fiber is there for mechanical strength, and that's on both positive and negative. It's like putting reinforced steel in concrete, right? It's truly there just for withstanding all the high extreme environmental conditions that the battery will see. When a lead acid battery is discharged, the positive plate actually grows, or the active material within the positive plate actually grows by 40%. So there's a expansion and contraction. And when you charge it, it contracts. So there's an expansion and contraction within the battery that you don't see from the outside, but there's a lot of movement out there inside that this will help. The lignosulfate, the barium sulfate was all related to capacity. One is maintaining capacity, 2 is recovery, which is during recharge. And then the carbon, we have a specially engineered and synthetic carbon that we use in this battery that's specially formulated for us that will really bridge the gap between a lead acid battery and a lithium in terms of partial state of charge operation. This battery is a true bridge of being almost as good as the lithium in terms of partial state of charge. And if you're not familiar with partial state of charge, is basically how we use our cell phones, right? You plug it in when you need to, but then you keep using your phone as you need it. You plug it in, and then even if it's not fully charged, you unplug it and still keep using your phone. So, and then all this combined, we've optimized the ratios, the amount of active material, the amount of lead alloys we've used to get a balanced battery design and operation. So all this combined will lead to less variation from cell to cell within a battery, and then battery to battery over the entire installation site. So with that, what is the performance? This graph here, no, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
All right.
this graph here, and I'm going to try to wrap it up in a few minutes here, just to save time for Q&As. This graph here represents what we publish in terms of 80% DOD, and DOD represents depth of discharge. And in other words, it means if you have a battery that can be discharged for 100 minutes at a specific rate, this is 80% of that. So you run for 80 minutes versus 100 minutes, even though it can run down to 100 minutes. Our published cyclings that we do is, as you can see, 80%. It's significantly more than any competitor. And the deeper the discharge, the less cycles you get. So for example, this is 80% DoD. If you look at our competitors' published data for 100% DoD, almost every one of these figures that you see in gray are half, because it significantly reduces cycle life at 100% DoD. So the deeper the discharge, less cycles you get. Now, a lot of these competitors, you'll see they don't even publish 100% DoD because the knee of the curve is so steep that they don't want to publish it. The point I want to get at is our 80% DoD publish rate or published cycles, which is 1,200, is we can actually achieve this at 100% DoD. Now, we backed it off because, as you know, from selling these batteries in an application, there's a wide variety of applications and wide variety of environmental conditions. And we wanted to make sure we encompass and it always meets what we say. So we've actually gone conservative and said 1,200 at 80%. But in reality, we can reach this at 100% DoD. Next slide, please. Now we're going to get into actual test data. So the standard test for this, or one of the standard tests that we do, is the BCI 06 test protocol. BCI is the Battery Council International Consortium, which we, both the C&D and Trojan side of the business, are part of. What this data will show is 100% DoD cycle life testing. So the x-axis will be number of cycles. The y-axis is the capacity at each cycle. And yeah, next slide. Then we'll just talk about competitor products. So this is competition one. This is gel. Each one of these lines represents one battery. So it's not a string. So in this case, I believe this was 6-volt battery. So it's two 6-volt batteries independently tested. Did about between 300 and about 400 cycles. These guys were claiming over 500 cycles in their publication. Next slide, please. There's another competitor. This is also a U.S. Competitor. The previous one is a European competitor, European and U.S. actually, both. This one is a U.S. competitor. They were publishing 600 cycles. They died at right around 500 cycles. Next one, another U.S. competitor. These guys were publishing, I believe, a little over 500 cycles. But you can see the wide variety of ranges in terms of cycle life at 200 to almost 500 cycles, and then even the out-of-the-box capacities vary significantly by 20%. These were 3 batteries. Next one, this is a Asian manufacturer. These guys had some crazy claim of 600 cycles, and they didn't even do 250 cycles. Next one is another Asian competitor. These guys were claiming 400 cycles, and one made 400. The other was about 360 cycles. I think that, and then there's one more. So another Asian manufacturer and competitor of ours, these guys were claiming 600 and they did not even do 400 cycles. So all these combined, what you can see here is we've done 6 competitors. And again, one line represents one battery. So it's best case scenario. It's not even, in a string. You can see between 200 and 500, nothing went over 500. And this was third-party testing, right? So it's not our lab, it's third-party with the same test protocol. Now, we did the same thing with the Trojan AES, and this is the result. It's still ongoing right now. This is our T105 AES battery, the 6-volt in the GC2 BCI size. This battery, I think now has crossed over, there's a little, it's over 900 cycles now. And you can see one out of the box. If you look at just the spec sheet, out of the box, they might show, hey, we have more runtime than Trojan in some cases. But what you can see is within the first 100 cycles, except for one, none of them were better than Trojan. And within 400 cycles, we were outperforming everyone. And then the other thing is if you're the end user, it's a linear performance. It's steady, so it's predictable, and it outlasts anything in the competition. Again, third-party testing, same test equipment, same test protocol. Now, we did another test with 8-volt batteries, the GC28. So this is a standard AGM battery that was a one battery, like all the other ones that you saw previously. And this is pretty good. I mean, it did about 1,000 cycles, pretty good performance. Then what we decided was, okay, let's put this in a real application on a 48-volt string. So 6 of these put together, did the same test, same lab, same test equipment or similar test equipment, same test protocol, just in a 48-volt configuration. And you can see a 3x, actually it was a 4x decrease in performance, or nearly 4x. And what you're seeing there is there's always 1 weak battery within a string, right? And then within that battery, there's always 1 weak cell within that battery. And what you're seeing is that battery variation from battery number 1 to battery number 6 was so high that the weak battery just kept getting hammered and getting weaker and weaker, which killed the overall string. We did this repeat. I'm only showing here one line item, but we did this actually 3 different times, thinking, okay, maybe it was a manufacturing defect, but this was repeatable both in a single battery and in a string level. So this is real life conditions, what you see in the black. Now we did the same thing for Trojan AES. So we took one of our T875 AES, 100% DoD. I think the scaling's up. We actually went to 1200 cycles on this battery. Then we did put these batteries in a 48-volt configuration, and that's what you see in the dark red here versus the peach or the pink color. What you can see here is when you have 1 battery versus 6 batteries, the variation is almost negligible. And the Trojan battery in real life, where you put it in more than 1 battery configuration, will outperform anything out there in the field. So that's the test data, and now I think we'll get into charging. Here's just the comparison of 48-volt configuration versus 48-volt configuration. Significant difference. In terms of chargers, we have Trojan-specific algorithms for SPE, Delta Q, and Leicester electrical. Our AES batteries are compatible with most AGM chargers. You always want to temperature compensate any VRLA AGM battery, so Trojan AES should be temperature compensated. But we do understand there's going to be applications where someone has a old charger or they're replacing a flooded battery with a Trojan AES, but they don't want to pay for a new charger. There will be instances where, hey, can I still use this charger that I have? And so there will be instances in that for that we ask that you work with us, and we can because we've looked at many instances already. We'll work with you guys on what that means. It's not ideal, but we understand that's going to be real life conditions. So with that, I will now hand it over to Mary. And you have not a lot of time, sorry.
Thanks, Dharmesh. I probably could have made it through Matt's part, but I definitely couldn't have made it through Dharmesh's part. So you're lucky he was on for this. Matt, go ahead and flip to the next slide. And I'm just going to skim this in the essence of time because I'm quite sure you're going to want to pick Dharmesh and Matt's brains. But we did the global launch schedule for the launching of Trojan AES. And the main items to point out here is our final show will be ISSA, which is in Las Vegas in November. And so if you are there, please come to our booth, and because I would love to meet you face to face, and then also to show you the great technologies that we've got, and especially about how we're further launching Trojan AES. We started with the original emphasis in floor care and rentals, and we have now moved to material handling, aerial work platform, and then you'll see us going to solar and golf toward the end of the year. Next slide. This slide basically is to present the campaign concept. Normally I would read the whole thing, but I'm just going to read the main items here. Want substantially longer battery life? Trojan AES. What about a battery that needs virtually no maintenance? Trojan AES. One with harmless partial charging? Trojan AES. What about a battery that can handle the toughest temperature extremes and abusive treatment? Trojan AES. So when you want a battery that answers all of your needs, say yes to Trojan AES. No volume, Matt?
Sorry.
Here's what we'll do. We'll provide a link to the video at the end of this presentation so that you can actually go and watch it and enjoy the sound and the volume on that.
It's a really well done piece. I think it's posted on a lot of social media as well. So it's a great tool to use that we will make sure everyone gets. All right.
Yeah, it walks you through basically, for example, these are some of our actual ads. And what we have done is we are focusing on everyday pain points in real life situations. We want to make sure that we stand out against the competition with an obvious question that the answer is always yes with Trojan AES. So for example, want a battery that lasts up to 3 times longer. That message we find is really resonating in floor care. The supreme performance in extreme conditions, that is really hitting hard in aerial work platforms. So I think we've done a really great job highlighting those pain points, and the video also expands on that. Next slide. This is our campaign approach. I won't go through every one of these, but I wanted you to see how well thought out each of these were. It starts with focus and then goes all the way to where we'll be extending the campaign, which is we'll be launching den sizes in EMEA. But basically, this is everything that we have done from trade shows to dealer recruitment campaigns and everything else to launch this product. Next slide. One of the things, this looks so simple, but one of the things we did is we studied over 70 media kits. And I don't know if you've ever seen a media kit, but some of these things were, 60, 70 pages long, but we had, you have a finite budget, but you have to identify where you think you're going to get your best reach. One of the ones that we have is McMurrow Reports. They publish a portfolio of e-newsletters, therefore facilities maintenance managers, cleaning professionals, and they deliver, it's very useful content to all the vertical markets that we serve, including like resorts, rentals, government, education. We're getting great returns on a lot of the digital and the print advertising that we're doing with them. We're also doing a lot of public relations efforts, and our own Matt Herr is going to be made a famous star because we have several articles coming out, which Matt definitely helped write and provide information for. One other one I want to mention is AC Business Media. They published 16 magazines. They target, anywhere from rental equipment companies to landscaping to supply chain. They published their main magazine is Rental Magazine, and then they also had the very active For Constructions Pros website where we're running digital marketing with them also. So one thing that we do is we monitor, we measure, we analyze, and then we evaluate if this is where we want to be spending, getting our biggest bang for our buck. Because in digital, we've kind of shifted some. Like if our Google AdWords campaigns, we want to fund more money toward them because they're pulling better than, say, our social media. We are free to do that, and we know that because we're tracking those investments. Next up, one resource I want to make sure that you're aware of. If you will apply for an account on trojanx.net, which is basically our channel portal. The reason that is important is because my next slide will show you a great deal of the sales collateral and other type of information you'll find there. But if you go to trojanx.net, there is the word apply in the right-hand corner. Fill out that application, and if you enter Continental Battery Systems, you should automatically be approved. If that doesn't happen, to be on the safe side, you may want to make sure that you shoot me an email that just says, Mary, I signed up, and I can make sure you're approved immediately. And last slide, Matt. So on TrojanX, you'll find we just uploaded last week. There's Trojan AES training, which is basically similar to this type of a presentation, but it walks you back through it all with very short quizzes you can take. There's lithium ion certification. We have uploaded the MD training presentations, which I know some of you all sat through. There's a great question and answer document that's out there that answers more than we ever could in this time, along with technical documentation and everything else that you could need. So one thing that I just want to close with is I just want to say we are very excited about working with you. Mercedes and Bernie, we're really having a great deal of fun accomplishing things like providing more recent updates on the website, figuring out what other sales collateral we can do and help provide you with in order to help you increase your sales. And then plus our own team sales blitzes, that's been a lot of fun to support. But I wanted to leave you with just one thing, and I hope you can guess what it is. Say yes to AES. So now I'll just turn it back over to Matt. Any questions and answers you may have.
Very good. Thank you, Mary. Just to summarize, though, we've done a great job in creating awareness in these markets. And we're really trying to generate that excitement and that interest in these key markets to drive business to all of you. So if you have an idea or want some of these pieces, go out and check out trojanx.net, or reach out to Mary and she can help you. These are great tools that we've to get into your hands to help you sell them. So thank you. But with that, I think we went a little bit over, but we do still have about 6 minutes left for questions. So does anyone have any questions? Email address, I'll put it right here. And you can type them in the chat if you'd like, or you can come off mute and ask questions if you'd like.
Jesse James, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, doesn't seem to be much attention paid to the renewable or solar market. Are you intentionally staying away from that for a bit, or?
Actually, I think Mary had it in her campaign. We're kind of starting with our core markets first, right? The areas that were our motive. Sorry, which slide was it? Which slide was that, Mary?
I think it was the last slide where they had that one cut sheet for solar.
That's one of the first slides.
Okay, so we're kind of timing our launch, right? Maybe you can answer this better than I can, Mary.
One of the things that we did is we identified where we thought the product would be, of course, the most successful and most greatly accepted. And solar and golf were identified as very important and critical, but we felt the great need to expand first into floor care and rentals. We definitely are making a push in solar and golf, but you won't see that until toward the end of this year. It's kind of been a step-by-step process.
Yeah. So we're rolling out, started with floor, went to rental. We'll be moving into AWP. And kind of rolling them out and seeing where we have the most success, where the opportunities lie, and then expanding upon that going into 2024.
Thank you.
Yep.
Steve Cohen?
A couple questions. The easiest one first. Who is a contact person, like would act as a rep for Continental Battery if I had some questions? Because I have no idea who to call for. Is it Matt or is there somebody else? I'm out of Tennessee.
Oh, you're looking for a sales contact?
Yes.
Brian Jaber would be able to get you to the correct person. Brian on the line?
Yeah, I'm on the line. So I have 3 regional guys covering Continental coast to coast, and Rick Sanders is the East Coast rep that you can reach out to, and Steve Eskew has his contact information.
Okay, great. And 2 more quick questions. Number 1, what is the weight? Just give me an idea, like on a T105 version, like what would the weight be on that? Is it lighter than the traditional AGMs that you've been offering, or is the weight about the same?
It's close. It's a little heavier because we have put in more lead in the battery in the same volume. So it's probably about a half a kilo to a kilo more. So about 1 to 2 pounds more.
Okay. And then finally, bid situation. So part numbers, some of these guys are used to a certain part number when they put a bid in. Is there any plan to, or, how would you do it as far as part numbers to execute into bids across the country that they know the Trojan AGM and they put that on their bid, and then if you try to bid another part number, sometimes they don't look at that. Is there any plan to execute as you slowly get rid of the traditional AGMs and incorporate the AES?
Yep. As we have that transition going on, we'll definitely give everyone a heads up and communicate the transition well ahead of time. We were just kicking off a project right now to start that process of discontinuing AGM, but it hasn't started yet. So we do have some time for any OE customers that you might have to make the transition.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Did the order ever arrive, Joe?
Marcus asked, comparing to brands I've never heard of is very hard for me to grasp as a reference. How do these AES batteries compare to Trojan's current AGM batteries, specifically with the 6 volt and 8 volts?
Sure, great question. So it depends on, I just want to give you the whole picture, right? So the AES really outshines both the Trojan's standard AGM or traditional AGM and the competitors in harsh environments and in deep discharge conditions. So basically, the more difficult the use case, the more this will stand out compared to those. Now, compared to the Trojan AGM, this AES will outperform it by up to 2x. So it's a significant increase in performance from there also. If I had to overlay, if you look at that one graph that had all the different discharge or cycle lives, the Trojan AGM would be just barely more than the others. AES would be significantly more.
You one more question?
One more question?
Don't have any more?
No questions. Okay.
Shy
All right.
group.
Well, thank you all for your time today.
And we really appreciate the support from the Trojan team and everybody at Continental for hopping on.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank you.
your help.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Take care.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Hello, this is